So this is going to come as a shock to pretty much no one that I switched up my desk setup again. I pretty much change my setup 2 to 3 times a year out of boredom. I just want to like freshen things up. So I'm going to walk you through some of the new things that I've added to this setup since you've last seen it in January. Let's get to it. So getting right into it, starting with the desk itself, we have the IKEA countertop still. This is a 74-inch desk, and it's technically just a countertop that you get for kitchens, and I placed it on top of these standing desk legs that I got from Amazon. Now, under here, we'll go straight into the cable management. I have these 2 cable trays that I got from Vivo. It looks like crap behind there, and those little trays just hide all of that. To the left of this standing desk, I have a Husky workbench. Now, this I was using before in my studio as kind of like a utility desk. After I moved out of the studio, this was just collecting dust in my garage, and I really wanted to put it back to use. So I placed it in the corner over here, and it just happened to fit perfectly right here. This, I believe, is like 56 inches or 54 inches, something like that. And so it fits perfectly right here to where I can have all of this stuff sitting on top, which we'll get into. And it just gives me a little bit of extra space. Now moving up to the monitor, which is one of the biggest upgrades to my setup. This is the BenQ PD3205U Design View monitor. It's a 32-inch 4K monitor, and what's really great about it is that it comes factory calibrated, which means this thing is calibrated right out of the box to an industry standard level. Moving up from a 27-inch to a 32-inch monitor, I think was the perfect choice for the size of this desk. This thing has been great for editing, coloring, and just overall daily use. If you want to know more about this monitor, I have a full review video out now that you can check out. I'll be sure to link it up there in the corner. Thanks again to BenQ for sending this monitor out to me. The speakers I'm using are still the Edifier S2000 Pros. These things sound great. I've been using them for like 2 years now, and I haven't had any complaints. I love them. I love Edifier's products, and I definitely plan on getting more in the future. And also, they're sitting on these sound isolation pads, just so any of the vibrations that come from this are going to be isolated by the foam, so they just sound better. Now moving on to what's powering all of this is the Apple Mac Studio. Now I picked this up on release day. I've also posted a review between this and the M1 Ultra because this is the base model, but I love this thing. I've been using it since March. It's become my main system. It's taken over my PC, which we'll also get into, but this is the base model that has the M1 Max, 32 gigs of RAM, and 512 gigs of hard drive space, which is not great, but that's why I have this thing down here. This is the OWC Thunderbait 8. It's a hard drive array filled with 8 6-terabyte hard drives, making it 48 terabytes of storage in total. 42 of that is usable since it's set to RAID 5, which pretty much means one of them is used for backup. So if one of these hard drives ever fails, that backup hard drive will rebuild itself, which minimizes the chance for data loss. This thing is insanely fast since I'm running Thunderbolt into the Mac Studio with 8 bays of storage. I think I'm getting like 1500 megabits per second read and write speeds, which is amazing. So I can work off this thing. It's not just like a storage drive, it's a workable drive. It is a pricey upfront investment at about $2,600. But what's great about this is that now I have the array and I can constantly swap out drives. I can even upgrade down the road to SSD drives, which is just going to make it faster, and it's going to get me closer to like 2,500 megabits per second read and write speeds. Let's move back over here real quick to the peripherals. Now I'm still rocking the Orbit Key desk mat. The main keyboard I'm using is the latest Apple Magic keyboard with Touch ID. That's honestly one of the main selling points for me. I just thought it was a little more convenient to use that versus typing in my password every time. It is a bit pricey, but it is built well and it feels nice, so I'm fine with that. For my mouse, I'm still using the MX Master 3 from Logitech. It's one of those mouses that people either hate or they love it. I personally love it. I think it's perfect for video editing and everything that I need it for. Moving on to the lighting, I have all Philips Hue lighting, including a bulb in this IKEA lamp that literally everyone has. I'm probably gonna get rid of this thing soon. And then I have a strip behind the desk, and we're running everything off of the Hue app. So we can turn it on and off here. I can change my colors. Let's move on to over here. This is what I call kind of the utility setup. Starting with the PC, we've got my custom built PC that I built back in 2020. For a while, this was like my main setup. I was running everything on here. We've got a Ryzen 3700X, RTX 3070, 64 gigs of RAM, and like 2 terabytes of SSD. Right here on the PC is I have this little Switchbot, which is basically a wireless button pusher. So wherever I'm at in the world, I can press this button and it'll turn on and off my computer. So the reason I have this is because I like to run Parsec on my PC. So if I'm gone, wherever I'm at in the world and I need to access something, I can turn my PC on remotely, use Parsec to tap in and stream it from wherever I'm at, from my MacBook Pro. As long as I have like decent Wi-Fi, I can connect to it, access things. I can even edit off of it. It has a very low latency. Parsec has really changed the game for me since I travel so much for work. I always need to access things at home while I'm away, and so it just makes it very easy for that. Now, when I'm not using this computer remotely, I am running it off of this LG DualUp Monitor. Now, this is probably one of the most controversial monitors we've seen in 2022. It's an interesting monitor. It's basically two like 23-inch monitors stacked on top of each other, so it's like the opposite of an ultra-wide. The reason I have it over here is because this is just like a utility setup, so I can run one monitor down here, one monitor up here. It is pretty small for what it is. You know, if I had a slightly larger one, I think if I could get like a 27-inch, two 27-inch monitors out of this, that would be great. But it's a great monitor. It looks nice. I love this ergo stand that they sent with it. It's just really easy to set up on your desk, move it around, and also cable manage with it. This is the perfect second monitor for someone. So if you wanted to run this over here as like a secondary monitor, like a vertical monitor, it's perfect for that. Moving down here to the peripherals, I just have a mechanical keyboard from Vissels, and it's a great little mechanical keyboard. It kind of just gets the job done. I don't need it for anything specific. Over here I have this Razer Ballistic, I guess technically is a gaming mouse, but that's just there so I can use this computer for whatever I need. And all of this is powered to a battery in the back, so it's all battery protected. And I put my mini fridge here. It just kind of fit perfectly under the desk here, and it also is able to hide everything that's back here. As you can see, it's pretty ugly back there, so having this really just hides it all, and I can just run all the cables back behind there. But yeah, I usually just keep this stocked with some drinks. Right now it looks a lot prettier than it usually does. Moving up here, I have this little magazine holder thing that I got on Amazon, and it's just holding a couple of these magazines that I got. This was actually in my last setup tour video. I've got a couple issues of American Cinematographer up here. One being right here, August 1993. That's the month and year that I was born. This one is just, I wanted to find like the oldest possible issue. That's January 1939, not necessarily like a specific date there. And then I have this one, March 2011. That was the month-ish and year that I started doing video production, when I like very first picked up a camera. January 2015, that's when I moved to Los Angeles, which kind of was the start of my professional career in video production. On the walls here we have these sound panels, which honestly are just for looks. They don't necessarily serve like a actual purpose. They just look really cool. So yeah, that covers everything that is on the desk, all of the new things that I've added to it. Lastly, we've got the chair, which is the Autonomous Ergo Pro. They changed the names of their chairs, so I can never remember, but I'll put the link there. But this chair is great. I've been using it for like a year and a half now. I will say in my last video, I kind of knocked it a little bit, saying it wasn't as comfortable as my other chair. And the more I use it, I've kind of changed my mind, and I really do enjoy using this chair. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the current desk setup that I'm rocking right now. As always, I will put a link in the description to all of the products that you saw here in case you're interested in picking them up. Most of those products will have an affiliate link, so I will get a little commission, which always helps me reinvest into the channel and buy little pieces of tech here and there so that I can keep making these videos. So if you want to check any of those products out, it just helps me, and hopefully it helps you with your desk setups as well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and say hello in the comments. Let me know what you like about this setup, what maybe you don't like about it, and if you have any recommendations that you think would be helpful for me, I always love to read the comments and see any of your thoughts. So thanks again for checking out this video. I will see you all in the next one.